Welcome along, everybody, to the Big Five Racing Podcast, bringing you the best of the action from the world of National Hunt Racing as we begin the incline into the 26th year of the millennium, and in turn to decline of days to the big four spring festivals, which are now all into a case of counting days rather than months. The anti-post bets are beginning to look really good, or like mine, just simply abysmal. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is Harrison Ferris. You'll hear my name around boxing, NBA circles, horse racing's always been a great affection of mine, and that's been extended by my wonderful co-host. Today we had Matty for the Christmas pod, we've got Cotty for the New Year's pod, and probably just in due course as well, because New Year's Day's racing is going to take our attention this week, Cotty, from here in Cheltenham, and just kind of speaking to a couple of people across those sort of autumnal meetings that we went to. This is one that a lot of people like to circle, a different crowd to the norm, I would say. You've got a lot of people that take themselves up the hill for this card, and look, it's kind of good to see why, because this year we've got decent field sizes, we've got good races, and there's probably no better place to start drinking, really, with a nice cold Guinness at the home of racing. So we've got a nice card to look forward to tomorrow to welcome in the new year.
No, yeah, definitely. Always a really good crowd on New Year's Day. You see, a lot of families, um, you know, from little kids, to people going with their, in-laws and people like that. So yeah, there's always a good crowd, and I think Cheltenham put a lot on because they know it's such like a family day. There's plenty to do for all ages. So no, it's a good card. It's always normally absolutely freezing on the hill, but
Oh, yeah.
if we can outfind a couple of winners, then you don't mind standing in the cold for a couple of winners. So
Yeah, I've always made it like an intention to make sure I bring a pair of gloves with me on New Year's. It seems to be the coldest meeting by some distance. Because we're going into the New Year's, I've not seen you since Christmas. Just how was the period for you? Of course, we're going to talk about all of the fantastic racing next week from the King George, from the Savills. There's so much to debrief. We just don't have the time here. But how was your Christmas? Did you have a nice couple of days back home?
yeah, no, really good Christmas. Plenty of beer and plenty of winners as well. So it was a very good Christmas on the whole, and no complaints. Just hopefully continue the good form into the new year, starting at HQ tomorrow.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, it was a very nice Christmas, and I suppose for the winners, maybe not the most profitable of Christmases I've ever had, but when the winners banged in, I had a fantastic day there on Shallow Hurdle Day. That really got me up. I had 5 from 6. Just I flew well. So hopefully we can take that momentum into the new year. So with us doing this New Year's podcast, we are going to leave, like I said, that Boxing Day SL action for next week's podcast. So we're going to focus today on the Cheltenham card, provide you our best insights going from 1 through 7 from the card in full. Don't forget, of course, at the very end, we'll bring you our nap of the week selections as well, or weekend selections in this case, to try and find you as many winners as we possibly can to start the new year. And we're going to start the new year with the first from Cheltenham, the 12:15, which is the Inquirer about the Cheltenham Bloodstock Club Maiden Hurdle. That is a Class 2 event over 2 miles and change. First favourite of the new year then is Step Ahead, 2-1 for Kim Bailey and Matt Nichols, who train together these days. I know Cotty's a very big fan of Kim Bailey horses. Takes the lead there from Skelton's, just golden at 5-2 big prices. About the rest. Nice enough little maiden hurdle here, Cotty. A couple of these coming off hitting the post last time. There's a bit of marks to work around. I suppose with these maidens, they're all sort of relatively young, 5-6 year olds, and they're all in engagement to improvement. Hence, you get 2-1 the field. I don't really know if anything kind of stood off the page for me here, though. Interested to see where you're going to start, Cheltenham.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be a big betting race for me, but I have had a good look at the form, and I think the market probably does have this right with the three being so far clear of the fourth. We start with the fourth favourite, Neon Dream. He won a point 305 days ago. Doesn't seem doesn't seem the strongest of point. I've had a look at the form lines, and there's nothing come out that looks remotely promising. Majority have stayed in the point-to-point fields and still haven't managed to get their head in front from 300 days ago. Derek O'Connor did take the ride that day for Sam Curling, and he can produce some decent horses, but the form of the race doesn't look great. So I'd be happy to leave that. I do think the best form in the race does lie with the favourite Step Ahead. I find it very interesting as well that these connections purchased this horse after its two bumper runs. First bumper run was 8 lengths second behind Friendship, who's a very
Yeah.
decent horse for Philip Hobbs. Has won round Cheltenham a couple of times, and it won well on Hennessy Day at Newbury when I was there. And then it went to Ascot for a listed bumper race and came third behind the very impressive Win Beneath My Wings, which was obviously fancied for the champion bumper back in March. Um, I suppose you could say it's also fancied for the Supreme this year. We haven't yet to see
Yet
it,
to see him, yeah.
but yeah, the market is I think it's a 20-1 shot for the Supreme for a horse that we haven't seen for about 400 days. That's a fairly short enough price, I'd say. But no, it was third in the listed race there.
Yeah.
The fourth has come out and won of that race, Swinging Safari. Won a novice hurdler, I think, round Wincanton. Dr. Blue was fifth. That came second in a grade 2 round Cheltenham as well. So there's decent form there. He's just got to transfer it from bumper races to hurdles. Was second last time out over hurdles to Money Garrow by 7 lengths. That was a decent enough comeback, I'd say. Money Garrow is a decent horse for Scouten. Might
Yeah.
might come on for the run only 3 weeks ago. So yeah, 2-1 is probably fair. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be one of my biggest bets on the
Hmm.
card. Probably just be like a 20 into 60 job just to help pay for the train and the beers. But yeah, it wouldn't be a lump job.
Top of the market there for yourself in the first for the maiden. I agree. This is probably the weakest of the races that I had a look at. I wouldn't be putting more than two £10 selections on my two here. I've got one at the top of the market, and then I've lost my head and gone for a 50-1. But we'll start with Kiwi Rush at the very top there for the fantastically young trainer Harry Derham, who's been running mostly up in the Scottish borders, where he won a bumper there at the back end of last season, and then was second just after that. Very unfortunate not to win that day. Soft good to soft ground. Reopposed then at Newbury's first time over hurdles, and was fourth of 9. I remember watching that race a few weeks ago, and there was just signs of him just being a little bit green and a little bit novice-y over his hurdles. But I like the idea with these maiden races that you're able to step up into improvement. They're all looking for the first win, of course, over the obstacles, and there just seemed to be enough of a scope there for me for this horse to possibly just get there. Stays at 2.5 miles, which he ran at Newbury, so that seems pretty fine. The other one there that I seen at an absolutely massive price was Walk Tall, and that Harry Cobden's going to be jocked up here for Joe Tizard, which you obviously don't see too often. Massive price, I thought, when I had a look at these earlier. Won his point to point over 3 miles the very end of last year. Has had 3 runs this season. Was second in his bumper at Exeter, which I thought was pretty decent form, and picked up 104 for that. The 2 runs since over hurdles, there is a lot to be desired. 8th of 9, 7th of 12th, and big prices to justify that at Newbury and Ascot. But I think just the conditions, I don't know. I feel like things just might line up for him to go a more distant 2.5 miles over Cheltenham, where he's got the hill to undulate off of. And I didn't think his jumping was bad on either of those occasions. I just thought there was some decent horses in there, and the pace was quite fiery. Don't see a lot of pace on personally from the horses that I have seen from Maidens, so I just thought there was a decent chance that he might fire in at 50-1. But that is just taking a bit of a stab in the dark. But I agree with Cotty, this wouldn't be a big betting race for me. Opener into the books then with that maiden harder. We will crack straight on through the card. Then we'll move to the 1250, which is the Ellenborough Park Hotel Chasing Excellence as Novices Chase, again over 2.5 miles, Class 2 event. With a very strong favourite at the top of the market here, the expensive Regent Stroll running in the Jed Mason Hales Hybrid Silks. Paul Nicholls trains this one, of course, with Harry Cobden taking the sticks. Califeon Vol, who was second at Cheltenham just a couple of weeks ago, is returning here as the 3-1 favourite. And then we have Philip Barnes coming over with Eagle Fang 9-2, and then it is Job Lot round prices about the other two in the market. Regent Stroll then, Cotty, is a very, very talked about horse. Expensive purchase. I think he was about £400,000 or £500,000. Looked good in his first couple of starts, I think around Newbury. A lot to be desired after that, but one last time out a couple of weeks ago. Seems to be getting his act together. Do you like him in this spot?
Uh, it's a hard race to work out. I mean, this horse has so much quality and potential, I guess, but really doesn't help himself out with the way he runs. He's very headstrong.
Mm,
Was a bit better last time out at Wincanton, I believe it was, when he
I think
beat
so, yeah.
Jericho de Rapinay. But then
But
the
that
ride
turned into
of
a complete farce, didn't it, that race?
yeah, I don't think Nico de Boinville wanted to win that race. So I'm not too sure how much you can take of that. But the second favourite, Califon Envol, however you want to pronounce it, I'm not too sure. But the 3-1 second favourite, we were there last time it ran at Cheltenham, was beat 13 lengths behind 6 Mile Bridge. I think the winner was very impressive on the day. Maybe the Henderson horse will come on for the run and serve it up to the favourite. And then the next one in that the bookies are giving any sort of chance really is Eagle Fang
Hmm.
for the Irish Raiders. I don't watch too much Irish racing, but from what I do, I'm not a fan of Philip Burns at all. I don't think he's the greatest jockey in the world, but it does seem to have come for some money. It's carrying 11 stone 9, the same as Regent Stroll. The second favourite is getting £5 off the pair of them. It's a tricky race to work out because I think if Regent Stroll bounces out and he settles well, your 5 to 6 at the minute will be 4 to 7 after a fence.
Yeah.
It all depends if you want to take 5 to 6 with a horse that can almost throw a race away, I guess, from being so keen. So no, I don't really have too much of a strong opinion. I might just put Regent Stroll in a double with the other odds on favourite later on in the card for scouting and just try and boost the scouting horse that's 1 to 2 later on in the card to well, I guess it'd be what, 6 to 4 double,
Just a bit bigger
something,
than that, yeah.
yeah, something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't be it's not your 110 to win 100 kind of bet on Regent Stroll.
Yeah.
It's probably just watch him jump round and yeah, and see how he settles. But yeah, I think the first furlong will be the most important for Regent Stroll.
I just hope really now that we're starting to see the clogs turn a little bit now with Paul Nicholls' horses, and obviously he had no drama this end that won the Challow a couple of weeks ago, and he's firing quite a decent percentage at the minute. And these are obviously the marquee horses that we need to see from him come the festival if he's going to have 5, 6, 7 winners, whatever it might be. It's performances now from Regent Stroll tomorrow that are really going to defy that. At the price, I prefer him to Caliphate on Vol, who, like you said there, the thing is, 6 Mile Bridge just blew it away, and that Royal Infantry, the Skeleton horse, like, just the best horse in the race, and I think that 6 Mile Bridge is a very, very good horse as well, but I just like the idea of Regent Stroll finally getting the opportunity to come to Cheltenham and be himself, and obviously we're now going back to asking him to replicate those very early days where he looked like a very good novice when he was running around Newbury. He was very sort of green and firing over his fences quite nicely. And since then, it's been a bit up and down, but he's had good wins in there in between. Of course, he's won a pair at Wincanton. He was unlucky not to win at Aintree during the Grand National Festival. Disappointing on his re-up at Newbury, but I mean, he's a bit hot and cold, yes, but I'm hoping this is going to be one of those hot days. Mentioned there about Caliphate. Well, Eagle Fang, I watched the Thurles race there a couple of weeks ago where he got his head down quite nicely against a Rob Core horse. I'm trying to remember the name. It's something blue. Gordon Elliott trains it, so I think the form lines probably are quite good for that. Me and Cotty will always tell you on this podcast it's always worth respecting the Irish horses that come over because they've got such a good record when they come over to Cheltenham. But I'm gonna double down with Cotty there, and I think Regent Stroll should just be too good for them in the novice chase. 125. We'll move on quickly then. One of the features of the cards, the Betfair Handicap chase over 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs for horses rated all the way up to 150. We've got a clear enough favourite at the top here, Katate Dory for Sam Thomas at 11 to 4. Hercules Westwood at 4 to 1. Seems to get a good couple of runs around here. And then JP McManus has Jasmine de Grugy with Tony Honeyball training that one. Nice little handicap. I thought this caught you some good horses, plenty we've seen in the past. Does he know? running his 416th race. Inch House has been around forever. There's some good horses in here. Top of the market, Katate Dory. I make no secret about being one of the big Sam Thomas fanboys in the world. Only has to carry 11 stone 2 if he's going to win here. Do you like what you see from that perspective?
I think his task today, tomorrow should I say, will be his easiest task for a long time. Was last
Mm-hmm.
seen coming sixth in the Hennessy. The time before that was a handicap hurdle round Aintree, which I can only imagine was to blow away the cobwebs
Cobwebs.
for for the Hennessy. So
Mm-hmm.
this is anything near the Hennessy. So yeah, probably the right favourite. The one thing I couldn't really get my head around here is only one horse has run over coursing distance, which is Does He Know? I know you definitely don't like backing horses that carry 12 stone round
Yeah.
Cheltenham, but I think
But he makes a good exception to the rule because one of the very first podcasts we do, I don't know if you remember that, I put this horse up at 20-1 at Doncaster, and he really resembled the old time sake, and you think there might still be a bit of life left in him.
well, definitely. I mean, he's getting on now. He's 11, but if you go back and watch his seasonal reappearance at Haydock, he looked like he
Oh,
was a
brilliant.
6-year-old, not an 11-year-old. Um, beat a horse that day, Dunboyne by 17 lengths. You know that's it's a decent enough yardstick for
Mm-hmm.
Ian Donahue, and I just thought at 15-2, it was a big enough price really if you can bounce him out and get him into a nice rhythm. He's definitely a good each way bet here, I think. So yeah, I'll stick with the Kimberley horse.
Yeah, I've always liked Does He Know, very consistent, and I think it's quite interesting as well. You kind of have to observe that obviously they have these veteran series now for the 2.5 to 3 milers, and when a horse comes back after obviously he's qualified for the veterans final now, but the fact he's coming back into open company to try win this off 12 stone, very telling that is to me. So I think that's a really good selection. I'm not going to go anywhere off Gatate Dory. I think I've backed this horse near enough every single time that he's ran. He was my pick in the Hennessy, ran a fair enough sixth in the end. He stayed on beautifully after just knew he was going to be beat. Obviously, you've got to ignore Aintree, and he pulled up, unfortunately, at the festival last year. But when he gets into a good rhythm jumping off the front, this horse is very, very dangerous. Won that way in Kempton beautifully in February. Blew them apart. I think it was about 15-20 lengths in the end. And on his good days, he's very good. Typically only races on good to soft, which I believe is what we're racing on tomorrow. Currently good, but sprinkles of rain about this afternoon and this evening, so hopefully that'll get into the ground enough. And the fact I'm getting £12 off Cotty's horse here and pretty much getting weight off the majority of the field that I'm worried about. Hercules Westwood will share the weight. I think that's a very solid contender. He's 9 now. So he's had a couple of decent runs. It was unfortunate, well, not unfortunate, but was beaten favourite last time, but fourth. And it's a pretty decent renewal. It's quite deep, so maybe 3-1 is on the skinnier side, but always a horse I've had a lot of time for, and happy to give him another chance tomorrow up the hill. Firing through the card, then we'll move on to the 2 o'clock, which is the Betfair Exchange handicap chase over 2 miles and 4.5 furlongs. And it's a wide open market for this one as well. I don't know if my racing post is lying to me, Cotty, but Glenn Gooley opened up at 33-1 yesterday, is now the 4-1 favourite for Faye Bramley in her first season of training. Sean Bowen takes the ride, that's always worth noting. Then you've got Twin Jets, Il Ridoto, risking the ground. The old boys always coming there for their handicap situations. This could be the mother of all gambles, Cotty. What's going on with Glenn Gooley?
No, I believe the Racing Post has probably got it wrong because
Okay.
it won the John Hunt Cup, didn't it? Which is the Paddy Power Gold Cup in December. So I don't think it would have ever been 33-1
You'd be
after.
very happy if you got on at that price.
Yeah, I think that might have been a glitch or something. But no, I think 4-1 could be skinny enough.
Mm.
I think it got the run of the race last time out under a very good Sean Bowen ride as per usual. I'm going to back Ilverdito in this for young Freddie Keatley, and Paul Nicholls was last seen up against Glenn Gooley coming seventh that day, but I don't think Glenn Gooley will have it as easy as he did that day. He's been dropped £2 since his last run already. So Freddie Keatley can claim 7. So technically he's £9 lower than his last run. Sean Bowen's horse has gone up £3. So there's a £12 swing in the weights. Glenn Gooley's 4-1. Ilrodotto is 13-2. So I hopefully, again, wouldn't be many people's price for each way, but it will be some. It does have form on good ground as well, and I think the ground will be it'll be firmer tomorrow than it was that
Yeah,
day in
December.
December,
Yeah.
and I just think that will help Ilroditto as well. So no, I think at 13-2, it's a fair enough price. You've got some other decent horses in this. I mean, Jungle Boogie, top weight for Venetia Williams. Believe that'll be the first run for Venetia Williams, leaving Henry de Bromhead's. That was once fancied for a Gold Cup, so that could spring up at 14-1. Matata's in there for the Twisting Davises. That would have beat was it John Bond the other week? If it wasn't for JJ7's mistake at the last, that would have
Yeah, the miracle recovery.
in the Schlur, that would have stayed on for second behind Le de Seur. So no, there's plenty of decent horses in the race, but hopefully a bit of back class on Ilrodetto and a decent £7 claimer on his back can hopefully work the Oracle and get in here off will be 10 stone 4. So no, hopefully a decent run.
Double that up with you, actually, Ilrodoso, when you nailed all the points I wanted to. That the ground was just a bit too dead for him in the December race. Of course, a winner of the Paddy Power a year and change ago now, so the course and distance form is there, and the fact that he's dropping effectively £9 here to only give Glenn Gooley 1. And you were bang on. Glenn Gooley for me is really short. He's probably the worst of the favourites on the entire card here because Bowen just slept them. It was a disappointing race. I was there on the Saturday, and it was quite a disappointing race to watch visually because you just kind of knew, like, oh, Bowen's got the slip on these, like he's just going to kick on and go. And the fact that the race was ridden at such a dead pace, and you had whatever shot he was, like 20-1 shot going from the front and bowling along. The entire race was frustrating. That will not happen again. You can imagine Twin Jets, who's in this here for Harry Cobden's, going to go right off the front and try and nail them. There's a decent enough pace on you. Matata's an absolute maniac. You know he's going to go off from the front as well. Jungle Boogie, who once tried to amputate Rachel Blackmore, has always got a fast runner and is going to have to be off 12 stone. So I think there's too much pace on. That's going to work in Ilrodotto's favour, who's a midfield runner and should hopefully bowl along. We know he gets up the hill. He's well enough handicapped. Paul Nicholls, like we just mentioned there, is back into decent form. You could have a massive card day tomorrow on the card. So I'm going to join Cotty for that tip. I really like Ilrodotto in that spot. So hopefully we can manage to land the handicap between us. 235 on the card is the Dawn and Engineering Relkeel Hurdle, the feature of the card. It's a grade 2 of 2.5 miles, once won by the legendary Bob Ollinger. This year we've got another short-priced favourite. And how good was this boy up at the Homer racing at Haydock? Kabral Du Mathan, 4-7 favourite here, looking to justify a brilliant hike up in his mark. We'll have to take on Lucky Place, who continues back over hurdles now after a couple of disappointing chase starts as 4-1 for that. Jinko Blue 10-1. Gal Road 14-1 is always seen around here to good effect. Real Whacker Cancer. That's round them off. Kabral Du Mathan then, Cotty. Probably, in my opinion, the best performance I've seen from a British horse so far this season. Was absolutely breathtaking at Haydock. Was sort of always kind of prominent, but then when he was asked to go into the long straight at Haydock, he didn't just kick on, he absolutely flew home. You've got to buy in at 4-7 here. I've got a good feeling you will.
Yeah, no, I think this horse jumps like it could run in the champion hurdle. He jumps like a proper horse. Quick from one side to the other, scopy, can go long, short. He's just a very good jumper and does it at high speeds as well. Yeah, you'd have to think 4-7 is a very fair price here. Lucky Place has done nothing over two runs over fences. I know the form reads 3 and 2, but I believe that was third in a 3-runner race and second in a 2-runner race. So so that horse has rightly come back over hurdles, but the Scouting horse is also getting £6 off Lucky Place as well, just to boost its credentials even more. And if he wins well tomorrow around the track, you'd probably have to say that he could have a fair shot at the Stayers.
Going into the Open Company Stayers.
Yeah, the Stayers in March. Yeah,
Oh,
you'd have
okay,
to.
right, yeah. Well, the question I was going to ask was, would he be more champion hurdle bound or Stayers? Because the run last time was 2-3, this is 2-4. Do you get the impression he's probably going to stay better than he's going to be quick?
Yeah, I'd imagine he'd get 3 mile no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with the Scoutons having the new line as well.
Yes, of
You know,
course.
if
Yeah.
if they're sure that he could get 3 mile,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have a decent shot on the champion hurdle with the new line, and you'd have not an outsized chance. I don't think you'd have a fairly decent chance of winning the Stayers. So if you could split them up, you definitely would.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's kind of it's a shame there isn't a 2.5 mile race at the festival. I've said that every year since it hasn't existed, so that's a bit of a shame. But Kabral Du Mathan there for you. This is going to be a nice, easy graphic for me to make. There's no opposing this thing. I know it's 4-7. I know it's short, but I'll find something in Ireland or France or the UAE to double this thing up with and get myself an even money shot home, because the way he ran at Haydock was just beautiful. Haydock, of course, goes kind of similar to Cheltenham as well. Like the course comparisons are quite there. Obviously, there's no hill, but in terms of the sweep around the tight bend on the new course, I just like a lot about what I've seen from Kabral Du Mathan that day. Flew home. The distance is fine. The reason I asked Cotty about the 3 mile thing, we're going to learn a lot about that, obviously, because if he gets up this hill well over 2.5 miles, then you can just boot him out to 3 miles, knowing he gets around up Cheltenham. So that's the only question mark, really, is he going to get up the hill at 4-7? That's all I have to ask, because his jumping is superb. I haven't given up on Lucky Place, but he's been poorly campaigned this year. I think Nicky Henderson will be the first one to admit it. The chasing efforts just didn't work. And then in terms of bigger prices about this, Galro will run a bit of a race off 11-6, and the Real Whacker, of course, a one-time Brown Advisory winner, which we're not going to get into. But by I think Kabral Du Mathan should just be too good and should be picking up the Relkeel hurdle. In truth, folks, hands and heels. 2 races left then from the back of the card. The 310, the best odds on the Betfair Exchange Handicap hurdle over 3 miles. This one is for the Stayers. And the going still remains good at the minute on the hurdles course. Ace of Spades has won around here before. He's the 9-4 favourite, carrying 11 stone. Put £6 up if you like double powerful, like I'm sure Cotty probably does at 3-1. Marchand 2, one of the better Emma Lavelle horses these days. Copton takes the ride there at 7-2, near enough double. Bigger prices about the rest in the field. You've always been a big fan of double powerful, and when I seen this card, I was putting it all together, I thought you could be a little bit torn between that and Ace of Spades, because he's a pretty good performer, but if I was going to guess, I would guess double powerful.
Well, I used to love this horse. It won 6 on a bounce, I think, and the sixth win came at Cheltenham. Ever since then, it's been an absolute bloodbath. I think the November meeting, I was sweet on this, making its chase debut. It fouled, so I thought, okay, fair enough. Kind of I can kind of live with that. We then went to Ludlow 10 days later. I thought it was a redemption time. It was going well. I think it was. To be fair, there was still 3 or 4 fences to go, but I wouldn't have swapped him, and he fell again. So I'm very happy to see it's back over hurdles and not fences this time. But I do think it's quite an interesting race. The favourite's got strong form and very consistent on the whole. Machantu for Emma Lavelle. Last time that ran at Cheltenham off a mark of 129. That one very, very impressively beat a horse called Electric Mason, who actually reversed the form at Haydock. Yeah, stays off a mark of 138, so is £9 £9 higher than his last Cheltenham win. Um, Sam Drinkwater is a very small trainer, however, does have a very good strike rate at Cheltenham. Spike Jones gets in here off 10 stone too, and Benjamin Macy's a fair £7 claimer, and he can take another £7 off his back. Was last seen coming third at Cheltenham by half a length in a similar race, Class 2 hurdle, over 3 mile. I just think at the prices it's 9 to 1. I'll be having a little go each way on that for sure at 9 to 1. You only need, well, it's top two places, but you might be able to get top three with one or two bookmakers extra place. That'll be very nice.
Yeah.
But in terms of a win purpose, I probably will stick with double powerful if I was to play a single, and just hope that the smaller obstacles are a lot easier to get over, should I say, and hopefully bounce back into the winners' enclosure. But yeah, it'll be Spike Jones each way and double powerful for me in that race.
Common of the afternoon there, a bloodbath since his 6 on the time. Lovely. So a couple of selections in there for you. I just couldn't pick anything at the top of this market because I couldn't really separate the top three. You mentioned there Marchand 2 was very good when it won here last time out. Double powerful, a lot more consistent over hurdles than he has been fencing. Ace of Spades has the quality of these to become a graded horse in time. Only 130 rated at the minute. Won quite nicely at the November meeting last year, the December meeting, one of the two of them. So good enough consistent form from him. I'm gonna just go with a bit of a cult Haydock figure here. The 10-year-old Harbour Lake at 14 to 1. I'm gonna break all my rules about top weights, not liking them big stay-in races where you can't get up the hill with 12 stone. Just because I didn't like anything at the top of the market, I thought my luck's been shit at Cheltenham recently. I've had about 3 winners from the last 5 days I've been there, so something's got to spring an upset, and I'm hoping that's going to be Harbour Lake. I mentioned in Haydock Legend because the amount of 3 mile handicap hurdles he's run around that place, goodness me. He's really consistent with his mark as well. He's kind of floated between like 140 to 150 for the last couple of seasons. Now he's 10. Could have opted to go down a bit of a veterans route and take on to Chasen, but he was over 2 of Chases. The fences just never really seemed to work for him. But over hurdles, he's just a model of consistency, really. And if you're sort of banking on the future horses here not being up to standard, which they might not be, I don't know, then something of the old guard might come out here and win. So I thought Harbour Lake 14 to 1. I just thought was a pretty decent price. To be fair, like what you said there, I'll be trying to get top 3/5 online or see if one of the bookies on course will go 3 places. I'm sure somebody will, but not a big play for me. But it'd be nice to see Harbour Lake just for the old timers like myself try and hopefully get one on the board near the end of the cards. Final race we have then from the 7 is the 18 to 24 Get Your Race Pass Junior National Hunt Flat Race. I lose my 18 to 24 unfortunately next season. I think Cotty lost his about 5 years ago. It's a 2 mile 2 mile flat race. We've got 3 horses who all opposed each other last time out. Solly's Gold, Molly's Lad, Roxy Man. Not a whole lot to split them at the top of the market. Cotty, I've not got a clue. Not got a clue here. I was probably just going to go Solly's Gold because it beat the other 2 last time out and Bowen's on board, but bar that, I hope you can sell me on something else.
Yeah, no, when I say this could literally be ask your mate to pick a number 1 to whatever it is. It could be the best way forward. I think there's 16 runners. You're best off turning around to your mate and say pick a number 1 to 16. Here, I think I'm not going to.
Will we even be here for this? No.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I'm not gonna bore you for 5 minutes and try and make myself sound like what I'm going on about is pure bumper knowledge. But no, I wouldn't really have a clue. The only slight edge I think I found was that Molly's Lad finished a length and a half ahead of Berkshire Woody at Aintree last time out. Molly's Lad is the 5 to 1 second favourite. Berkshire Woody is 16 to 1. Why there's that much of a difference between those two in the market, I'm not too sure. They're both off 11 stone. You wouldn't think Rebecca Curtis would have many first time out winners in the bumper circuit. Fergal O'Brien, you probably would. He'd have more bumper winners first time out than Rebecca Curtis for sure.
Hmm.
So maybe there's more improvement to come from the Rebecca Curtis horse. It's 16-1. Dylan Johnson's a useful pilot. Can already see on Bet365 they're offering 4 places. So a little fiver each way on that to end the card could be a get out of jail, or worst case you lose a tenner. So yeah, that'll probably be for me, Berkshire Woody. But yeah, I wouldn't have much of a clue like most in this. I don't think.
No, there's not a lot I dislike in racing as a whole, but I've never ever been a fan of bumpers, and I've made that clear. They should, I don't know, they should. Can't get rid of them obviously because you need it for the progression of horses, but yeah, I'd rather sit in the Spectre than watch this race in person. But Solly's Gold, it'll be for me 4-1 top of the market. Bowen's on board, beat the other two favourites at the top of the market last time out at was it Wincanton, Weatherby, sorry. Other than that, there is nothing really for me to go off of there. But that is your 7 races from Cheltenham covered. We'll be back in a moment for our naps. Nap of New Year's. Some journalism goes into this podcast, folks, I'll tell you. This is going to be our best bets from New Year's Day. We've got that fantastic car from Cheltenham, but obviously with the short prices of Regent Store, Cabral Du Mathan, we're I could have easily just put up the double really as the nap, but we're going to take you elsewhere. New Year's Day means one thing in Ireland, that means Tramore for the New Year's Day chase. That's the grade 3 that I'm going to take you to. You might have heard this horse mentioned once, twice in the podcast. That is Croke Park, who was supposed to go in the Savills, was pulled out late. I'm not 100% sure why, actually. There was no description given, but he's been sent for this. Jordan Gainford's going to take the ride and is 7-1. Top of the market's Hartwood and then Champ Kiley. Hartwood obviously beat Croke Park at the start of the season, but I don't really take too much of the form line from that race. It was over 2.5 miles, and Croke Park obviously desperately looked like he needed the run, and was third again last time. Again, that was a decent enough run, really, and he seems to be getting there a little bit, and I'm hoping that this season it's going to be a reverse, and his best runs are going to come at the back end of the season. Steps up to 2.7 here, which I still think 3 miles is optimal. I know he's won his grade ones over 2.5 miles, but I think this horse, like we've said, is just a complete and utter boat. The further the better. Soft ground to verify that as well. I've always said his jumping is sensational. He's one of the best front running horses in Ireland. Look, to say he's got a shot in the Gold Cup is another thing, but I think the spotting here is really good, and 7-1 is a good price. 8 years of age now, he's a 4-time graded winner. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with him until he's not with us anymore. I think is the best way to describe it. One of my favorite horses in training, if not my favorite. So hopefully we can get a nice big win there at Tramore on New Year's Day. More importantly, going forward, because he's bypassed a few weeks due to the piss. He is on a 7-timer. No pressure.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Catterick tomorrow. The first race there, the 20 past 12. I'm going to go for the Dan Scout and trained in the age for Harry Atkins, who's claiming 7. Looks to be good value for his claim. Had a nice double on Boxing Day at Sedgefield. Gave them pair a nice ride. Is getting the stone off Silver Hill, who I'd imagine would be his only danger. Silver Hill ran over coursing distance last time out. Went off 4-9, 4-11, short price favourite. Made very heavy weather of that. Scrambled home, beating a 50-1 shot. In the ages down in trip, half a mile, which I think will help after looking at its run at Bangor last time out. Travelled well. Didn't find much off the bridle. The ground that day was very soft, to be fair, at Bangor. So the ground tomorrow is good, which I think will suit this horse a lot better as well. Yeah, getting a stone off Silver Hill, who looks to be the only danger, and it's Dan Skelton's only runner on the card as well. I don't think he sends many horses to Catterick at all, and the fact
No.
he's only sent one up and not 2 or 3 also speaks volumes. I think it wouldn't be a short trip from his yard on New Year's Day, so hopefully can get his head in front there and pay for the fuel back.
in a position where every pound counts now at this stage in the trainer's title there. He's looking to get as many winners as he can down Skelton. No prizes, unfortunately, which is abysmal. We're recording this quite late in the afternoon on the Wednesday. No prizes. But Cotty going for his 7-timer there in the age. If he's on, I know I'm going to be. And that is the lot for you this week. Happy New Year's, everybody. We've made it to 2026. Cotty, this is a despicable question for me to ask because I don't have any really, but are you one for sort of like New Year's resolutions or like traditions to welcome in the new year?
No.
I didn't think you would be. What's your plans? Well, obviously we've got Cheltenham for the day coming up tomorrow, but I presume you've still got a couple of more days off work. Anything you're sort of excited for now over these next couple of days into the new year?
No, just be a quiet one tonight, ready for Cheltenham tomorrow, Friday. I don't think I've got any plans. Saturday, I'm trying to get a ticket to go to the Villa game. I got Forest at home, and then I think the darts finals Saturday, I think, or Sunday, maybe.
Usually the Saturday, yeah, the third.
Yeah, and then be back to work Monday, and yeah, it'll be a lot of 5-day weeks until the festival in March. So yeah, enjoy the last 3-4 days because January and February are always long on the 5-day weeks and still pitch black. You know, when you finish work and whatnot, and then in March you kind of weather starts to get a bit warmer, doesn't it? And then the race and with the festival and that. So yeah, nice couple of days coming up, and then it's yeah, back to work. But no New Year's resolutions as of yet. But there's still 10 hours to think of one.
We hate to be miserable, really, because it's the new year. You know, good spirits, exciting fireworks in London, etc., etc. But like January shit, isn't it? Like the sport is minimal, the weather's crap, the racing's just a bit average. I mean, they've got the Clarence House at the end of the month, but bar that's very little really going. But look, we'll have a good day tomorrow, and obviously we've got plenty to look forward to. The darts, the Ashes. Hopefully we can bring it back to 3-2, and we can start the new year in the right way with a couple of winners tomorrow. Hopefully from this podcast as well. Thank you to all of you for joining us as well. We're going to be back right through now till the festival. Try not miss a week as well, and we'll have some special podcasts, some special guests lined up when the festival comes around as well. Very much looking forward to that. Same Cotty and Matty will be back on next week as well. Appreciate your support throughout 2025. Over 60,000 of you have joined us, which is just incredible. Really appreciate the support and sticking with us. Enjoy Cheltenham and enjoy the New Year's. Drink sensibly and bet even less sensibly. Take care, folks.